Hello, hello. Hello, guys. Hello. As you get here, make sure you say hello. I know I am popping in unannounced. So let me see what's happening here. Whoop, here we go. I am popping in unannounced. All right, so we'll see if anybody comes. And if nobody does, no worries at all. I am just happy to be here. And I was on a little earlier with Mikkel. And so definitely, if you haven't checked it out and watched the replay, please do so. And interesting, the thing is, the reason I went ahead and popped on is I had a call that someone had scheduled with me. On Zoom, they went on my Calendly link and they scheduled a Zoom call to chat for 30 minutes about something that I could help them with, right? I get on the call and he's just wanting to sell me his services. And I'm thinking, you took up my calendar to sell me something? So I told him, I said, the purpose for these calls is when someone is wanting to work with me and and he even answered the questions that implied that he was wanting to work with me. So I said, these calls the purpose is to talk to someone that's wanting to work with me so that I can see what I can do to help them. And I said, so if that's you, we'll continue the call, but it sounds like you're just wanting me to sell me your services. And he said, yeah, I want to sell you my services. And I said, well, then we're going to end the call now. And I've got all the people I need in my world right now that help me with my marketing and everything. So I don't need your assistance, but thank you. And I got off the call. So now I have extra time. So I thought, well, let me just go ahead and do an affirmation and a journal prompt for everybody. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so hold on a second. All right. So our affirmation for today is, I am aligned with my purpose, and each step I take takes me closer to the life I envision. So that should have every step I take moves me. Okay, I was thinking, what the hell did I do? So anyway, I will say that the movement that I did was when that gentleman messaged me, I took the call. And then when I really realized that he was not there to talk to me about a problem that he had or something that he wanted to work through that I could possibly help with, all he wanted to do was sell me something. I quickly just said, okay, we're just going to stop the call. And previously, I would have not wanted to hurt anybody's feelings. I would have wanted to just go ahead and let him do his spiel. And now it's like, no, my time is valuable. I want to talk to people who actually want help and not somebody who wants to sell me. I mean, somebody that wants to sell me can reach out and see if I have time to talk to them, but they are certainly not going to take people's time that do want help. So there you go. So I am really aligned with my purpose now. My purpose is to help people. And, there's a lot of different ways that I do that. And I know all you guys, you all have different things that are aligned with your purpose. And it's so important for us to make sure that the steps that we're taking are moving us closer to the life we envision. And we can't do that if we're scattered into a different place, if we're not keeping our boundaries. The boundaries are a big thing, right? And I will say over my life, that has been a sticking point for me because I didn't have any for a very long time. And so tapping into what are your boundaries, right? Learning to be able to grow in the place that you want to be. And so I'm utilizing this time to do that, right? So I would invite you, as you look at this, I am aligned with my purpose, and each step I take moves me closer to the life I envision. You can take a deep breath in and then just say it out loud. Let it sink in. Let it really fuel your focus. because I am so focused right now. And I was talking to Mikkel earlier that I've been tapping into this excited place within me. I just in the past few days, I've created the third meditation audio that is, I've got a series that I'm coming out with, and it's a series of 5. I've already done the first 3. The first one is free to anybody that wants it. So if you would love to get it, it's all about tapping into the place of knowing, of being, and calmness, right? And being able to process the world in such a more profound way. And so it's beautiful. I'm loving them, and I've been sharing them out. So if you want your own personal recording of it, I can just shoot you the link. So definitely check it out. And it is I've got it on my YouTube channel. So when you watch it, make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to be sharing more things as I go. So where are you right now with your purpose? I'd like to know. All right, so hold on a second. I gotta take this off. I'm gonna take that off. All right, so now I'm gonna grab the journal prompt for you. What does my ideal life look like? Have you thought about it? What does your ideal life look like? Not what you think it's supposed to look like, not what other people tell you it's supposed to look like. What do you in your heart want in your life? What does that look like? Because just like our GPS can't get us to a place that we don't know the destination. For instance, I had someone who I was supposed to meet up with, and they sent me an address. Well, it didn't have the city on it. And there's a lot of addresses that are the same in different parts of of even one state can have the same names, right? So it gave me like 4 or 5 different ones, and each one was a different city. And I thought, well, hell, I don't know. And so how many times have you been going to a destination that you don't even really know where it's at? You just kind of know the address without the city. You don't know the final destination. You don't even have a clear idea of where you want to go. So whatever step you take is going to be haphazard, right? So one of the main things that we want to do is get clarity on what we want our life to be like. Because the thing is, if you don't know, you might create a business that's booming, but it takes your time 24/7. And maybe that's not what you want. Some people want to be busy like that all the time. And for me, it was like, I wanted a business that I still had free time. I still had time to go and be with my family. I still had time to take care of me. And I still had time for like travel. That was my goal. And so if I started without that knowledge, I could have created a business that was so intense that I had no time for anything else. And so you want to know especially when you're just beginning to grow your business, what do you want it to be like? And one of the people that just amazed me was Laura, when she and I were, hold on a second. Laura Westman, that was, we did a program together, and she had so many amazing boundaries with her business. So when we would schedule to have conversations about what we were going to be doing and everything, she had a cutoff. Well, I can't do it after this time because that's my boundary. I don't work after this time. I don't work on these days. And she held to it. There was a couple of times that something came up and she might do a little short text or something, but she wasn't going to be doing a Zoom and spending her weekend because that was her family time. And so it's important thing to know, What do you want it to look like? So I invite you to get out your journal and really, really write down, what does your ideal life look like? Do you have a business that you work 9 to 5? Do you have a business that you work 3 days a week? What is that book, 4 Day Work Week, whatever it is? So what do you want? Just really tap into it and evaluate what would feel aligned with who you are. And one of my friends, she was interesting. She had said on one of the times that we were talking, she said, she said, I would love to have my business to where I could take the summer off and I could go with my son and we could just do trips and we could do whatever we wanted to in the summer. And the very next summer, she had taken the time off, and then all of a sudden it dawned on her, I said this last year and here it is. And so when you figure it out and you speak it, you can't get to a place that you don't know where you're going. So really, really tap into it. I can't say that enough, right? What is one step that you can take today to move toward it? So if it was like you want to set boundaries about the days and the times that you work, one of the things you do is you go in your calendar and you mark that off so that you don't accidentally allow something to go into that space. So that would be the first thing. So when you look at what your ideal life is, what is the one step that you can take today to move toward that? Reflect with honesty and with heart. I mean, figure out what feels good to you, right? Don't worry about the how, just write from your vision. All right, now I'm going to go back to the affirmation. I am aligned with my purpose, and each step I take moves me closer to the life I envision. Make sure you put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes. Put it somewhere that today you are reminded. What is your purpose? Are you aligned with it, right? And then when you get to the journal prompt, what I always say is get out your notebook, your journal, write it all down, the date, the affirmation, the journal prompt, and then tap into silence. Set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes and just sit, focusing on your breath, and just let all of this stuff that you've written down just marinate back there. Just let it marinate. You don't have to be saying it over and over again. You don't have to be chanting or doing any of that stuff. Just focus on your breath. Get things within you quiet so that you can start hearing that inner guidance, that God voice coming through, because it's always there. We're just not always listening. And this helps you to actually hear what you need to hear. So once your timer goes off, that's when you pick up your pencil or your pen and you start writing out, what does my ideal life look like? And remember, you don't have to worry about how it's going to happen. Just write from your vision. What do you really see? And when I've done this before, I like to say, I wake up in the morning, this is what I experience. As I go through my day, this is what I experience. And you go all the way to at the end of the day when you get into bed. And that is almost like you're writing a story or a letter to someone that doesn't know how your life is. And maybe you haven't seen them in a long time and they've sent you a letter or they've called and they said, what's going on with you? And you say, oh, let me tell you, when I wake up in the morning, and just fill it out, write out in as much detail as possible. The more detailed you get, the better. Right? Especially when it comes to the emotions, the feelings that you're having in the moment. And if you do a workout in your day, put down that you did your workout. If you spend time with family or friends at lunch, put that in there. If you have the ability to maybe go and volunteer at your child's school, put that in there. If you volunteer in your community, whatever your vision is, right? Put it in there and just Write it like you're writing a story to someone. And then once you've written all of that out in as much detail as possible, like I said, then you look at it and evaluate what's the first thing I can do today to start creating that, to start moving toward that. What's one thing? And just sit and reflect on that a little bit and see what comes up. And, whatever comes up, just write it all down. If there's a whole bunch of things that come up, write them down. Don't judge them. Don't critique it. Don't say, oh my gosh, I would never do that. Just write it down, because you're tapping into that inner guidance. You want to listen. Doesn't mean you have to do anything with it, but listen and see what comes up. Because when you write it down, it may be that something will be sparked in your mind that will take you amazing places. So do it. Reflect with honesty and heart. Feel it from way down deep inside. I mean, you want to write out your life, your ideal life, in a way that when you read it and you really tap into it, you almost feel that giddiness, that excitement. Because if you can dream it, you can have it. But it doesn't just pop into the world or pop into your world. It's just right outside of that. And if you're really tapping into it, you're going to have these intuitive hits, this inner guidance, this God voice that's going to come in and say, oh, that sounds really, really good. I think maybe you need to call Uncle Joe, find out how he's doing today. And you think, why do I want to call Uncle Joe? I don't even have an Uncle Joe. But you're going to call Uncle Joe to see how he's feeling, just out of the blue, how he's doing. Whatever that intuitive hit is, do it. And it doesn't matter if in the moment it seems like, well, this was nothing. It's going to be something that is either exercising something within you that's going to help you, or maybe you talk to Uncle Joe and he says, wait a minute. He's talking to someone and he says, I just talked to my niece and she said this. I think you guys should have a conversation, because it may not be immediate that that's the person that is going to get you to the place that you want to go. It may be that that is the person that's going to introduce you to the person. And so just be open to whatever the intuition is that guides you. Act. Don't worry about the how. Just write out that vision, like I said, with as much detail as possible. And then as you really tap into all of this, and what is the next move? Whatever comes up, do it. For one thing, you're teaching your inner guidance, you're teaching your actual subconscious mind that when gift is given, you take advantage of it. And the more you do that, the more things will show up. I'm telling you, the magic it can bring in your life is beyond comprehension, because it's always there. It's up to you to do the things that help you to uncover those next steps. All right. It's been beautiful chatting with you today, and I would love, love, love to hear from you and what you may be discovering within you. And I will see you later. Mwah.